Alright, what's going on everybody? This is Arcade. Welcome back to another video on Marvel Contest of Champions, and today we're taking a look at the next episode in our stud or DUD series featuring Civil Warrior. Now Civil Warrior is a pretty interesting champion. He has a cool set of abilities tied to him. However, I feel like this champion, he doesn't really get to shine a lot, man. This champion is actually pretty cool and has a lot of abilities that actually can be used. However, comparing him to the other champions in the tech class, he really doesn't stand out. So in this video, we're going to be jumping into his abilities, taking a look at what this champion can do, and figuring out whether or not this champion can be a viable rank up option for you. Now jumping into our first ability, we are going to be taking on a look at Civil Warrior's heal block. So the first fight here to showcase that ability is going to be Realm of Legends Wolverine. Now as you already know, Wolverine is as stacked of a region champion as you can fight anywhere in the contest. So what we need to do here is try and heal block Wolverine using his heavy attack and his special one. So the way Civil Warrior's heal block mechanic works is every time you land a heavy attack, the last hit of the heavy is going to launch a 5-second heal block debuff on the opponent. Now once you have the heal block on the opponent, you can actually replace this heal block using an SP1. Now this SP1 heal block is actually going to land a 10-second heal block on the opponent, which means it has a better and longer duration, and you can practically chain on heal block debuffs throughout the fight. Now as you can see here, we are building up to our special one, baiting specials out of Wolverine and dropping those SP1 heal blocks just so we can keep the heal block refreshed at all times. Now one thing you need to know is there is a short split-second delay between the two heal blocks actually landing, so Wolverine is still able to gain almost 12,000 regen in that short window. However, for most fights, that short window isn't really going to change the outcome of the fight for you. So as you can see here, we are building up to our special one and we are trying to connect those special ones and keeping the heal block refreshed. So Wolverine is almost down 10% of his health and still hasn't been able to recover most of it from his regen. Now throughout this fight, what you're going to be seeing is at one point we do fail to land the connection right there. As you can see, we fail to connect that heal block debuff. So what we do here is we land a heavy attack and get another heal block going. We are going to be spamming those heavy attacks until we can build up a special one. This way Wolverine is heal blocked throughout the fight and we can start our cycle right away. Now let's jump into a more practical fight here. This is a Mr. Sinister. Now if you're not familiar with Mr. Sinister, basically this character can regenerate 70% of the damage he takes from critical hits, which means if your champion is reliant on critical hits, this is the champion that is going to make you cry. Now what we can do here is bring in a champion that does not crit like Guillotine 2099, or we can bring in champions such as Civil Warrior who can just heal block Mr. Sinister throughout the fight. Now we are not using our SP1 here, we are going to be heal blocking him via our heavy attacks. Now this is so we can maximize our damage using the special 2. As you can see right here, our special 2 also refreshed the heal block and it did a ton of damage that Mr. Sinister really could not regenerate for. Now we are relying on a lot of parries to land our heavy attacks, which can be considered a downfall for this champion, but for as much as I can see, this champion has been able to control this fight and negate most of Mr. Sinister's regen. Now let's jump into the second ability here, and that is the ability to gain armor up buff. So Havok, I think in my opinion, is the best fight to showcase this ability's utility. So if you know Havok, basically what this character does is he is going to be placing a lot of plasma debuffs on you. Now once this plasma debuffs reached up to a cap of 10, this is going to cause that plasma to actually explode, which means that it is going to deal a ton of energy damage, and unless you can actually power drain Havok or you can have a armor up buff on you, this damage cannot be negated. So as you can see right there, we are trying to actually connect our our SP1s, so that we can time it with Havok's plasma debuffs. Now Every time you bait a special one, he converts some of those plasmas into prowess buffs, which is a good way to fight Havok. However, I do feel that having a armor up buff is actually the best way to fight this character. So now, as you can see right there, we lost our armor ups and we took almost 4,000 damage right into us. So that was really unfortunate, but the next time this plasma actually explodes, we are going to be having a armor up on us, which means that we are taking 0 damage, right, like you saw right there, and the fight is pretty much over. Now, one last fight that I wanted to showcase here is to showcase the ability to power drain. Now, as you can see, Hyperion here has a very potent power gain buff. Now, this buff is actually very difficult to get rid of unless you bring in a mystic champion or a champion that can regularly power drain Hyperion. Now, Civil Warrior's power gain is actually pretty potent. He can power drain 70% of the enemy's full power bar, which means that it does not depend on stored power, it's actually his max power, which means as long as Hyperion is under 2 bars of power, launching a special 2 is going to be draining Hyperion completely. As you can see right there, we push him to 3 bars of power and an SP2 brings him down to his 1 bar of power. Now, this ability isn't actually as reliable since it doesn't give us any power back via power steal, nor does it actually power lock Hyperion, which means that you are actually reliant on getting back to an SP2 every single time, which really can't be as reliable. As you can see right here, we can get to our SP2 and Hyperion is on his SP3. So what we do here is we launch a SP1. This actually gives us 4 armor up buffs, and that is going to reduce the damage that is going to be coming out of this SP3. Now, in most cases, this armor up buff can't really save you, but here it does, which means we still have a chance to get back into this fight. We drop 1 more SP2 after landing a 5-hit combo, and Hyperion actually is able to be taken down. Alright, so taking a final look at Civil Warrior here, I think that he is a pretty cool champion. Obviously, if you compare him to the upper tier champions of his class, he is not going to be able to compete. But for most people who don't have those champions and are looking for a couple of these abilities to fill their roster, I think Civil Warrior can be a really viable option. Which brings me to my next point, which is that I think Civil Warrior is an absolute stud. This may not be the champion that you want to rank 5, but this can be the champion that is going to help you get through the next phase of your content if his abilities are something that you need. Alright, that's all I have for you today, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what champion you think should be featured in our next series on Stud or Dud, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.